When we start a new learning process, we are making at the same time a new change in our life, which means our mind is going to begin assimilating all the new knowledge step by step according to the time we invest in it, but most importantly, to the method we choose to put into practice to make our learning process easier. It is known that we pass a big part of our lives learning under a traditional education model, but as soon as we finish our learning period in which we prepare the most to approve it, eventually we seem to forget almost everything what we have studied so hardly. So, what this happened to us? You may say that is a consequence of stop practicing what we have learned so far, what probably could be one of the main reasons, of course. But did you know that our brain used to learn and save the information more easily when we create effective links with the topics that we are supposed to understand and remember? Because that's how it is. But how can we create effective links with the content that we must learn? The answer is to find a way to enjoy the learning process. To exemplify what I'm telling you, I'm going to resort one of the speech of Lydia Machova in a Tech Talks meet. Lydia explained us how to turn language learning from a boring school subject into a pleasant activity which you don't mind doing every day. In order to make this possible, Lydia highlights the importance of finding enjoyment in the process of learning languages, because that's the way many people have found out how to become polyglots. And the most interesting part of it is that there's no exist a unique method to enjoy your learning process, because each person is able to choose a different activity that personally enjoy. For example, if you are bored with the readings of the textbooks, you can choose reading your favorite book instead. Maybe it is Harry Potter or a food recipe book, and any of both options are okay. Also, if you don't like reading traditional conversations down on paper, you can always write the lyrics of your favorite songs in your notebook. Or if you don't like listening boring textbook material, you can always find content of your interest in YouTube or another stream channel. Nevertheless, if you are learning English and you want to achieve fluency, you will need to apply effective methods. That is to say, you will need to find a process that helps you to memorize phrases or words in your long-term memory. For example, I like to use the Goldish method when I have to learn vocabulary for a test. You can also highlight new vocabulary in a book and then write it down in your notebook to learning in a fun way. On the other hand, a method that you personally enjoy is not enough by itself. You will also need a system or a plan for your learning. You know what people always say: constancy and perseverance is the key to reach the success. For this reason, it is crucial planning your learning in order to keep improving your knowledge in one topic. For example, if you are learning English, you can spend 15 minutes of your time making a reading before to go to bed. Or maybe you can meet a friend twice a week to practice your speaking at least 20 minutes. Finally, you have to keep something in your mind, and that is being patient. Every learning process takes time, and every one of us has a different pace of life. So don't get frustrated if you can reach your goal at the same time as other people, because you feel that the learning process has become more difficult. This is something that usually happens to many of us, but with perseverance we can get over it. And I'm going to tell you how. Don Kelly and Gerald Conner developed the emotion cycle of change in 1970. It explains 5 stages you move through emotionally when you make a voluntary change. as start a new job or enroll in a new course. I found important sharing this cycle because if you recognize what emotions could happen in a learning process, it will be much easier to cope with them. In stage 1, you will feel an uninformed optimism. That is to say, you may be excited to get started without being totally aware of the difficulties that you could face along the way. In stage 2, you will move to an informed pessimism. As your new situation progresses, you may start to feel some negative emotions due to the challenges that have arisen in the process. This is the point when people question if the change is really worth the effort and start looking for reasons to quit the project. In stage 3, you will get into a valley of despair. Emotionally, this is the lowest point of the cycle where many projects fail, because the pain of the change grows and the benefits of it seem far away. So the only way to end the discomfort is going back to stage 1, where everything was nicer. This is why our projects seem to resort every single time. For this reason, it is important to review your goals to make sure that they're still achievable, or if you need to adjust them to match your new situation. Stage 4 consists of an informed optimism. In this phase, you'll start to feel confident with your project because you start to look the process with more experienced eyes. The key here is not to stop but keep going. And finally, in stage 5, you will reach success and fulfillment. Here you will probably feel satisfied because you will have reached your goal. You will now perceive the cost of your learning process as something worthwhile. To conclude, I would like to remind you to embrace your learning process. Find effective methods which you can enjoy and practice constantly. Be patient and celebrate every little goal because there's nothing that motivates us more than our own success.